For those of you wondering why the delay in the video, well, we got a big orange boy that showed up. Yeah, King Arthur. King Arthur James. Yeah? What's it? Huh? What's it? What is it? Ugh. Your claw's stuck in me, dude. Ugh. Look at that claw. It's stuck in me. Ugh. Are you going to get up? Maybe? Ugh. Let's remove my pen. We don't need it for this video. But yeah, that is why I'm full of... Good thing I didn't mind today because this shirt doesn't have to be worn tomorrow. Sometimes I'll wear them a couple times before, as long as they get stinky before they go in the wash. And this is on that extra days. The only thing my face looks a little raw, it's because, you want to get exfoliated? Get yourself a big boy cat with a rough tongue. That will clean out your pores. Yeah. On the news of this box. The label is already taken off? Huh. Where'd that go? That's the DHL label. Some of you that have watched a couple episodes on this channel may know what this probably is. Fig. This should be the last batch of the collection. Batch set. Let's use the letter opener today. I gotta get this over to Frozen Slate and get him to sharpen it. He's got his fancy new sharpener now. I got it better, and I probably could get it even better if I did another round of sharpening. But he's got a fancy tool now. Why am I doing this with my left hand? Great question. Because I'm trying to cut myself. No, I'm actually not trying to cut myself. Turns out cats like ear scritches. Some of them you gotta get them into the mood first before they'll let you touch them. But in general, it seems like that's something I learned from Paisley, because that's especially where she likes to be scratched. Gertrude turns out really likes those once you get her warmed up a little bit. And that's what King was going crazy about. He actually likes the back of his head really much. Make him happy enough and he'll gladly return the favor in his cat brain wise. So let's crack this open. We should have a ton of packing. They usually pack these. You might be able to see a little sneaky peek. Sneaky peek. What's in here? Sneaky peek. Still won't get these out of the box. Well, I kind of do in these videos. But until I have a safe place to put them away from the kits, the cats, and the cattens, or the Kit Kattens, because they would destroy them. They destroy everything else around here. So, you know, you think they wouldn't destroy this? I swear they aim at the things that are the nicest. The things you most want them not to destroy. Oh, that has been there for before their existence has existed. Many years before. Broken. Yeah, it's very weird that label is already off there. Huh. Only thing I can think of is maybe there might have been some planned reuse for this box already. But until I can find a nice home for these figures, I'm going to keep them safely in their retail packaging and in the big shipping packaging. Because even this, unless I have a shelf tall enough to keep them safe, which isn't full of shit, isn't gonna be safe from the beasts that I have. Just to clarify, they don't like intentionally break stuff. At least I don't think so. It's just, you know, imagine a curious little kid, except this is a fur ball with claws. That's basically where we're at, okay? A little bit worse on the packing this time. Previously, they would have individually wrapped these and then done one big wrap over both of those. Not saying it's better or worse, just less and different. I don't remember the bubble wrap bag being this big either, though. So maybe they had a bigger one, or they didn't have two of the smaller ones. This will probably be a little bit quicker, because if you want some more backstory on how/why I picked these up, well, I can tell you how. I bought these through CD Japan. You're like, CD Japan? They sell music, if you watch my other videos. Yep. They also sell basically all other anime and Japanese culture derivative paraphernalia, let's call it. I know you guys like that term. And realistically, these two, along with the other 4, so this collection of 6 figures, are the first figures that I've ever bought. I have had some come as, I think there's just cat fur, not on the boxes, but on my camera and lens, due to King Arthur James over there. You saw my shirt? Jeez. He's shedding like a madman right now. I got them from like limited edition games, limited edition anime, limited edition movies, that sort of stuff, especially back when I was working in GameStop. 20 years ago? Oh god. It's been a hot minute. But, you know, like, for example, if you guys have seen the limited edition BioShock with the Big Daddy, Yeah, I could have been across the counter selling it to you, or handing it to you when you picked up your pre-order after putting your $5 or $10 down, depending on the item. That's right. Well, these are realistically my first, like, I don't even want to call them anime figures because they're not. This comes from Gridman Universe, which is an anime movie. These characters are characters in those movies, right? Right. But this is the Black Collection, and that is from ZOZOTOWN, which is a fashion brand. So you can see Gridman Universe should be able to see it. I don't want to say emboss, that's the wrong term. I'm forgetting the term for gloss black on matte black. Same thing on this side. Like I said, a stylized on the front. That's because a lot of times in certain places, depending on what's on the back side, or some of them are open, you may not be able to show that directly. Unless you're on a specific floor of an establishment. In the US, that would usually get covered up. Like even magazine covers, they have like opaque covers that go over the rows of magazines. Oh gosh, yep, definitely dating myself. Magazines, or album art. Mature album art often would be the same way for CDs you buy in store. Anybody else remember Sam Goody? And Suncoast Video? Yeah. But and this falls into that. They're the style that they're wearing, because basically these are characters from Gridman Universe, but their outfits of all the characters, which are all very cohesive. They're all different, but very cohesive. Let's see if it helps turn this light on. I don't know if that's better or worse. They are different than any other set I've seen, like, because it's an alternate outfit and style of the character that only exists, at least as far as I'm aware, in this ZOZOTOWN Black Collection line from Gridman Universe. The main piece of them is the figures. There's also some stuff like wall scrolls, and I'm still getting fur off my face from the big orange boy over there. Sticks in the beard. And their design caught my eye. I think it was the second set of the previous video that really caught my eye. And how unique it was. And then I found about the whole set, and I'm like, what anime are these from? Even a close friend of mine said the same thing. Like, because it's very unique. You never see that much. Often you won't see that much put into, or definitely not that style in an anime. And especially that like depth into it. You can definitely see that these character designs come from a fashion brand. We've talked about this before on the previous ones. Long bottom, exposed top. Very covered top, exposed bottom. This has the classic hoodie with hopefully wearing shorts underneath. Or, other stuff, but basically or you'll see it where they'll have shirts that are big enough where you don't see, and it's not a shirt dress, it's just a shirt. It's long enough that it, gives that effect. They're very balanced designs, very cohesive designs, as in they're all derivatives of the same style, but my guess, as I have not yet seen the anime, is in the stylizations that fit those characters. And even if they don't, Like I said, I equated this quite a bit to like J-pop, um, like J-pop groups where you'll see, especially in their stage uniforms, quote unquote, they unless it's some of the really big pop groups, and even those have started going away from it. But often they'll have the same style of dress. Like say if it's plaid, except the plaid will be in different spots. Some will have pants, some will have skirts, yada yada yada. It's a different line to give the different members of the idol group or band a different vibe while keeping them cohesive, right? Well, they've done that here with actual like street style fashion in what is more of a, I would say, 90s, probably even more early 2000s style. Actually, I might be wrong there, but we talked about before, Matrix derivative on some of these. We might go a bit into goth, especially the like rave scene, like that sort of style. That's why I was very surprised to see that, because though fashion is kind of looping back around, and it does take some time for the fashion, not that I've watched this very closely, but it still does, even when there's like a fashion studio things are in there, it takes some time for people to actually wear it. And I'm sure if you're in the actual scene, that happens like right away. But just like music to the rest of us and the rest of the world, it takes a while for that to like kind of permutate out of there. Whereas if you watch a lot of especially the Asian pop groups, they're very much adopting 90s fashion, like hard. And that is starting to bleed into the US as well. And this is going to be, like I said, late 90s, early thousands, especially, or late 90s, especially, in the early 2000s. And like the anime that this comes from as well, that you'd see this sort of stuff in previously. I gave like a great example, Witch Hunter Robin, very much fit into this. And there were others that I've mentioned previously. Watch those previous videos. That I go into good examples of where you would have seen this, or you might have seen this as alternate art styles, as more of like like a street fashion or a casual, say if it was sometimes if you watch your mainstream shonen anime, they'll have in the opening and or ending, usually ending, casual, or it'll be all the girls in casual wear, or going out shopping, or like this is some of the stuff you might have seen in some of those. I would say like darker styles from that era as well. Get Backers would be another one. Male actually wearing this style in the opening. I would actually say in the actual show, it was much more lightened, more bright colors. But even outside of the show, they had more stuff like this. But the other thing that interests me is, like I said, you could very much tell that all this is very cohesive, very like well thought out, and purposeful. Whereas you don't always see that with character designs out of animes, especially anime. And you definitely won't see it with like possible, like some of the stuff you will see that is that cohesive and stuff like that makes sense like in a game, or for a game character, or for an RPG and an MMO, or like RPG MMO character, stuff like that. But it's not something that is like sort of casual street fashion that one could actually wear. Like it wouldn't make any sense whatsoever. Not that this always makes full sense. There are very much on a lot of these certain fashion that you would only see, I would say, coming out of it's definitely more street fashion than you could wear it, right? But not somebody who's not into fashion, because I'm not saying you can't, but you generally wouldn't see it, because you're definitely taking some hits in practicality, more than some. for this. But a lot of this does play on real world things and just amps it up, if that makes sense. Maybe I'm going crazy. You guys tell me if I am down below. I just think it's really cool that this line, it has this, I shouldn't say unique because this has existed before, but it's unique that a fashion house designed character designs and that they made it into, often you'd only see this in advertising campaigns. That's like you'll see like Ghost and Shell and Asics and stuff like that, but there were never figures made of that sort of stuff. There might be some printed works, but most of the works that came out of those partnerships or Evangelion were not physical goods, or they were like advertising campaigns put together to sell physical goods, not, yeah. So, here we have Akane and the second, this is the third set of the Gridman Universe ZOZOTOWN Black Collection, or short version of the name for the collection is just ZOZO Black. Gridman Universe ZOZO Black is what you'll see it listed often at places. They, at least taking a look at the previous ones, they seem really high quality. There's going to be stuff above this, but anything in this 20,000 yen and up market seems to be that's a high quality figure. I a lot of people will get the ones. A lot of the ones that come to the U.S. are the ones you'll get out of Crane Games. And not saying these aren't mass produced or anything. There seemed to be some sort of a limited pre-order though, because by the time I heard about the second pre-order and I saw one of these and they were really, really cool, I saw like pictures of the figures on Twitter. I couldn't pre-order from CD Japan directly. They had to use a proxy service to get me the first set because they had already sold out of their pre-orders. And as far as I can tell, these are going, and this may just be initially out of the gate, like a lot of this stuff for anime and manga, at least in the US, like say if you want a manga on release, you really got to pre-order it or buy it day one. Otherwise, the likelihood of you getting it goes down, and the cost, because you're finding it afterwards, goes up until it's no longer relevant. Then it like plummets off a cliff. Unless it's like a limited thing, because for example, I didn't buy Zetsubo Sensei Blu-ray release from the US right when it came out. And I ended up paying like almost double to get a good copy. And I want to say even when there were some retail ones left, it was probably like a 50% markup at Anime Corner Store, even when he had just one. Whereas I could buy the second season, which most collectors are not going to want unless they have the first season, for 50% off as Right Stuff was trying to clearance it. I think it's now Crunchyroll store. Because Sony bought up the entire Western anime market and just consolidated it all into Crunchyroll. I got it for half price on there as they're trying to get rid of it. Interesting dichotomy. You know what I mean? So similar things like back in the day when I used to buy manga when Tokyo Pop was around. Maybe they are still. I don't know. I'm trying to think. I thought that went like back when Borders did or shortly after. Financial crisis, 2008 stuff. But if you were looking for a specific one, unless it was a very popular series, you were going to have trouble finding it, like later on into its life until it became almost like available in the used market. Or you'd be paying a pretty penny to get it. Similar things seems to happen for anime nowadays, especially because even back as of 2025, Best Buy stopped selling physical media. Walmart's almost there. They still sell vinyl though. I think 2024 Best Buy had stopped selling CDs. It might have been 2023. Now they don't sell DVDs and Blu-rays. And for a while there, they basically didn't in store, but you could still pre-order them from Best Buy. And I swear they would ship directly from, not even Best Buy, but from their distributor. Well, that must not have been making them enough money or make it worthwhile, because you can't even if you were to pre-order anime, which is, I used to always go through, as long as it was from a mainstream company and you would pre-order it, you could get it through the likes of Best Buy, right? Make it easy. You know, used to work there, had an account there. We'll just pre-order it up, do it in batches. Same thing, kind of how I do music out of Japan. And yeah, no longer. And it's like, where do you get it then? Another thing, like, for example, the Ghibli steelbooks. So it's all the movies from them in steelbooks. Those used to be exclusive to Best Buy. Well, now Best Buy doesn't sell that stuff, so Amazon's got them. But they used to be like sold out on launch every time. I feel like as we're getting the newer movies, that might have happened less, right? But now, like, you can just buy them off Amazon, and I think they were like anywhere from 12, 15 to 40% off the steelbook, like, special release versions. Because it is technically a mass-produced piece, sort of. You know, I have the full collection of them because it is the best and most up-to-date release of all of them. But yeah, it's just an interesting thing. So maybe in a year or two, when these resellers who have bought these still have these in stock, the price will go down, you know, or you know, because a lot of the U.S. figure market, there is a shift in time. And I know that from seeing on Anime Corner Store, Robert's Anime Corner Store, as well. You got to pre-order it out, and he'll always order extra, but the cost of those will go up because they're already imported, and that does take some time. Like, it's going to take usually a month or two from the release of it for the U.S. to get it, because these aren't officially released in the U.S. They're Japan only, so they have to import them and everything. So it takes some time for that to happen. And obviously you pay more because there's the U.S. to Japan conversion. There's the taxes and stuff like that, and the export duties and whatnot on the Japan side, and then the shipping and the handling in the U.S. side. I just made sure I got these because it was CD Japan that was promoting them on Twitter, and like I said, I got the second batch and third batch no problem once that came out for pre-order. But the first batch I had to do with go through a they call it proxy service on CD Japan. Basically, like, they contact other sellers and get it for you, or other places that would sell it. And then they ship it to CD Japan, and then they repackage it and ship it overseas. The brain is farting here. So that cost a bit more because they had to pay what the third party wanted plus their cost of doing that. They let you know all that beforehand. They're like, yep, cost item's gonna be this much, and our fee's gonna be whatever amount. Similar to how I do Bai or Tenso, except it was easier to do through them because they already had it listed as a product, and that means they also probably already had a third party in mind that they were going to go through to acquire it from. Right? So, all right. Well, from this side, we can't see the rear end because it is covered by the nice protective foam and film. Let's flip it over. Yep, they always make it, and I always comment on this, they always make it so you can see the face, which is interesting, even when in packaging, still. But they protect them really good. They have, like, it looks sort of like a shrink wrap bag in there, and then over certain areas they add additional, like where it would rub the plastic molding that they made for it, plastic mold packaging. they add additional foam. So that's another thing with this, is a lot of the alternate costumes that at least I've seen in figures. Now, I don't, like I said, this is my first, not only set of them, my first, like, really any. I saw no appeal in buying them. I didn't know how, I've been going to conventions for, 15 years plus now. I never saw the appeal, because most of what everybody bought, and this is, like, it's not like I don't see the appeal of the figure, and I think I brought this up in discussion with similar people that have been on the channel before. It's not that I don't see the appeal of the figure, I just don't know what you would do with it once you have it. Like, these are at least tasteful. I can make, like, a shadow box for them, or maybe modify one of the IKEA Kallaxes to fit them, if they fit height-wise. And it's actually, like, an interesting take. Like, I can mention the fact that like how they were designed, what's interesting about them, that sort of thing. And it's not just like, because a lot of them will go to, like, exposing as much skin as possible, possibly even being able to remove clothes and stuff like that. Like, I am not interested in that side of the figure market at all, because it's like, okay, you spend $200, let's say, right, on that. What do you do with it? Am I crazy? And in this case, yes, I will make a box for it. It'll just sit there. I won't do anything with it. But, I will admire the fashion. That's the word I was trying to come up with a little bit before. Or like, not even the fashion, like the overall design of the characters, the cohesiveness, like that sort of stuff. Like, piece of artwork, that sort of thing. And I guess those other ones are in that same thing, but, like, I don't know about just leaving those out on a shelf, or, if I make some nice display for these, putting it up on a wall, and, like, say I got it up in the office, or even in the bedroom. Like, not only, like, for others, and you're like, oh, people of the opposite sex, you deal with them. Actually, that's another discussion. But even, like, friends, they'd be like, oh, you, I mean, and yes, that you can have a nice discussion about, it's just not tasteful, in my opinion, to have that sort of stuff out. And I would question your decisions in certain things if, you're like, I just leave that out, and look over at it every couple hours, right? Check it out every day. I'll be like, dude, are you all right? Like, yeah, I agree, it looks nice, but or maybe you keep that in your man cave or something. Maybe that's what you guys are doing. You got your anime, your anime horde, your whatever. Hey, I'm judging. I can say that. I think everybody actually is, but you do you. I just personally am saying I didn't see a point to it. This is the first ones I ever saw that I thought were like, holy shit, that is a cool design. I can appreciate it for what it is, and it's not, like, distasteful. It's actually tasteful, I would argue. Ignoring the fact that it's 6 female, questionably, maybe not. Forget about one of the characters. Haven't watched the anime yet. Believe though. Like, yes, it's figures of 6 females. Like I said, one of them may not be. I'm trying to remember. But and you have them on your shelf, and you're idolizing them. I'm not really idolizing them, you know what I mean? But I do think the design is, it's kind of awkward to talk about this. But yes, I just like you can admire fashion and people wearing said fashion. But a lot of them will be like, okay, so what I was kind of getting at is a lot of the alternate art styles are just like, and hey, if this is your vibe, you do you, I guess, right? But often you'll see the alternate costumes being, okay, so say if it isn't a school anime, like let's just say it's Bleach, they'll have all the characters in school uniforms, even if they're like 22. That is appealing to a certain subset. Or they'll have, say if it's ReZero, you'll have Rin and Rem, or is it it's Rem and Ren? Rem and Ren. Yeah, there you go. See, I'm not a big ReZero fan. The first season, interesting. Watched it. Second season, not as bad as second season of Shield Hero, that's for sure though. They'll have them in bathing suits. That's a very common one. Then they'll put them in, put non-school, or they'll put less endowed or even more endowed characters into school swimsuits, or they'll put school characters in maid outfits, and all of them, like every character will have a maid outfit. And like I've seen VTubers even have their models redone for that, for events. Hey, cool. That's just not my style. Effectively this is that. Because at least the better ones of those events will give the different characters different maid outfits. Sometimes it literally is just all the female characters from the show, and they'll have like a outfit set or whatever, and it'll just be all in the exact same school or maid outfit. I don't see the appeal in that personally. Not saying you can't have that, can't appeal to you. Or like I'll see some people that do have display cabinets, but they're so stuffed full. Like I want to pick ones. These are the first ones that were like, those are good. I want to actually like make that an object of interest. If people were to see it, they could ask me about it. I could explain why it's there. I enjoy it. Here's why, and I'm personally not embarrassed about enjoying it. Not that I would be about the other stuff, but I wouldn't want to be put in the position of explaining why I want a figure that has like a skirt you can take off. Teach their own. Teach their own. This one's super interesting because it has the glasses. Hold on. There you go. It's actually transparent. So here is the second, even less to show off here, probably because there's more things that need to be protected by the longer legs, taller character. They need to be protected by the foam. Like I said, they always still have the face showing, which is interesting. These all do kind of have still a generic, and I don't know if that's just how they've done it, or I don't know. I feel like these, despite being higher quality, there are probably, I know for a fact there's a lot that are a tier above these. These still do get as much as and maybe that's where they put the money, is they put it in the body and the design of the clothing, and that's where all their cost was. I mean, because those boots look freaking cool. They look like patent blue boots. Maybe that's not coming through, or like blue purple. Like, those look like patent leather. I don't know if they're supposed to be ankle boots or go even taller, but they have like the right texture. They have all the designs. They have creases in the, in there. So it could be that all of the money, because the focus of these is the fashion, all the money went into that on here, because the faces and the eyes seem very generic figure shaped, if that makes sense. I don't know if you guys are getting that vibe. This is also me standing from I'm a 10-foot, I don't have much knowledge on figures. Those of you that have a ton are probably going to come here and be like, oh, I don't know, blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. But to me, my observation is that those faces, those stylized to look possibly like the characters, are very much still on a base face. Whereas I've seen some other ones that are not. Like, there are much worse ones where you can see that they just kind of like put eyes that kind of look the same, and the shape of the face and the hair is completely wrong. And they literally just like call them different characters. Like, these are like the way low end ones. Like, they're $20. And they barely look like the character. Definitely not the case here. These, like I said, especially like how well the clothing is done, for at least what I can see here and based on what's on the box. But I don't know if it's what budget they're aiming for, and because they put so much time and effort into the clothing and the designs and the custom stuff there, that like it didn't leave room there. But at least to my eyes, it looks very generic anime figure rather than, um, I would also say that like between the ones even that we looked at today, the hair you can very much tell is like put on top of the head. I have definitely seen ones at conventions or characters that people I know have where that is more of a focus for that character or whatever line they're doing, and it's much more blended in, or it looks more fluid, or it doesn't look like just like head, you know. And maybe I'm talking on my ass here with my figuring of like, but because this, and what do you mean? Oh, budget for a figure? Like, as in, if they're trying to sell it for a price point, they can do so much within that price point because they need their margins. Everybody else needs their margins, etc. So then, because you want the body and the clothing to be so specific, maybe you kind of, because that's the less important part. That's actually like the part they're not customizing effectively on the character for this, the ZOZOTOWN Black Collection. So at some point, if you got, like, I would really appreciate for those guys that made it this far. I know I'm just rambling, but if you have a suggestion for displaying these, there's 6 of them. I would like to get them all in the same box. I would have to look up, like, they have the height of 240 millimeters. What is it? 2.34 centimeters to the inch. So lop that off. I don't think that's 24 inches. But it's not short, that's for sure. I mean, like, we have a tape measure here. It's foot, let's say. How big are these Calax boxes? Because I don't know. I was feeling like they're 13 inches. I was thinking maybe, for example, some of these you can take out the divider here, and if I had 2 of these cubes, and I put, like, you can get covers for one. I'm assuming I could either make or get a cover for both, and then have them all in there and have lighting or something. Otherwise, if they make ones like, dude, I'm sure they make like figure boxes to put them in. If you guys have like links to that, let me know, because like effectively, I would like to eventually mount it on the wall at maybe higher than this height. If we go here, this is, so like eye or a little bit below eye level, so you can look at them and that they're lit up and that sort of stuff, and paid good money for the all 6. Obviously, like, I'm gonna take taking care of them here until I have a proper place for them. And I'm sure they make like really nice display boxes. I'm just not in that hobby slash industry. The other big thing about why, like, I know they're making closed ones, and that's how I'm going to do it. Especially if it comes in the basement, we get a lot of dust down here. Cleaning them seems like a beep. So if I can close it, we'll have less of that, or mostly enclose it. The other thing that makes all of this, and you saw by my shirt today, is this guy. Big boy King Arthur James. Were you taking a sleep on your scratching pad? Yeah, that was supposed to be Paisley's scratching pad. Yeah, oh, yeah, that's yours. You told the guys and gals. I lay on that and I scratch that side. Sometimes I scratch that side. Yeah. So we gotta protect it from guys like this. You know? hopefully you enjoyed the video. I know I rambled for quite a bit, but really like this set. Glad to have the full set of 6. I've mentioned before, and I still need to track it down now, is the wall scroll. I hate... Oh, there he's going. He's going. You noticed that? We noticed, guys. So he's not going to do it. Were you scritching? Were you scritching? He's like, nope. I wasn't using that. Yeah, I might actually... Oh, King, you can't go in that box. I gotta reuse it. King Arthur. King. He must sit in every box, just so you all know. Like that little box over there, under the Noctua, he will try and fit in that and destroy it in the process. Because he's a big boy. And he'll put his butt in there and try to shove the rest in and explode it. Yeah, he's going to make a little nest. I'm going to have to fish him out. But yeah, I hate wall scrolls because they are washed out. But I think because if it would be kind of cool to have the wall scroll that has all 6 of these on, because it does, and have it behind or above the display of those. Maybe that's cheesy or corny. I think it might be kind of cool. Even if I could put it, like, imagine it, like, if it's a fully clear shelf thing, and I have it, like, behind. So the backdrop of the display of the figures is the wall scroll. Thoughts and comments down below as I try to get this big boy out of my box.